So my name is Gerard. Grech. I'm the Chief Executive of Tech Nation, the UK network for ambitious tech entrepreneurs. We're really here to give tech entrepreneurs a voice and a platform, and we do this through our growth programs, our insights, reports, as well as our Digital Business Academy that helps anyone that has an idea to start a digital business. So we're pleased to be here in the John Bradfield Centre. It's amazing what a year can make, what a difference a year can make actually, because I think this time last year we were wearing hard hats, looking at all the underwiring in this building, and it was extremely ambitious at the time to see what plans they had. And now here we are. It's buzzing with energy, people, companies, so it's great to be here. So look, the report is the best yet. It's probably the most ambitious yet. It's the fourth edition. And what it is, it's really, so you've got quantitative analysis that we've looked at in terms of data coming from partners like Bohurst, PitchBook, ONS, Office for National Statistics, qualitative data, and again we've had the most responses ever, so 3,400 this year, and then we've got actual case studies. We've got 70 case studies with entrepreneurs and CEOs who are building great businesses. And so the report really gives an outline of what's going on right across the country, and specifically looks at 30 clusters or 30 cities, what's happening in those cities in terms of their density, their employment figures, their salaries. What about the connectivity there is within that city? And so some of the findings are, and there's many findings, right from demographic and diversity challenges, right through tech investment nationally. I think three things that really struck me for me was, one, that the digital economy is growing almost 3 times faster, 2.6 to be precise, than the wider economy. It just goes to show how much this is an important area for government, but also for the country. 2, that the actual worth, what's the total worth of the industry, is 184 billion pounds, which, to give you some context, it was 170 billion pounds the year before. So that's staggering growth when you think about it. And then number 3 is that when you look at tech investment internationally, again using Bohurst and PitchBook data, the UK's third after the US and China. And that tells you a lot about what the conditions are like here for investment, because the talent's here, especially in Cambridge, with Cambridge University not far from here. Obviously you have a lot of PhD students creating new companies, which then look at investment to keep growing. So it's no surprise, but I think we could do a lot better, I think, in my opinion. Why can't we be number one? As being the most invested country when it comes to digital technology. Maybe it's a far outright ambition, but we're number 3. I mean, I think that's a staggering stat to be proud of. So the report gives the headline stats, gives the regional stats, and also gives some demographic stats. There's over 1,000 data points actually in the report itself. So do go online. It's at technation.io. I think the community here is extremely strong, especially in Cambridge, after the history and the legacy that Cambridge has, and the layers of networks it has. But it all starts with an ambition. It all starts with an idea. Can we make the UK the best place to start and grow a digital business? So I think government, as well as the tech community, is looking at the 4 key drivers of this type of growth, which is obviously talent. What else can we be doing to be attracting the best and brightest talent from around the world, but also developing homegrown talent. 2, investment. I think the VC industry now in the UK compared to what it was 10 years ago is so much more advanced. And over 70% of venture capital money comes through the UK for the whole of Europe. 3, infrastructure. So it's great to be here in the John Bradfield Centre, because this is really, there are over 50 startups. That's in a space of 6 months. There's such a demand for space, which we call infrastructure, whether that's physical spaces and office spaces, but also digital infrastructure in the sense of digital broadband. And finally, the political conditions, the policies that government passes in terms of making it much more productive for companies to start and as well as grow. So today at the event we had Robert Gerard, who's the Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, really, and has a responsibility for the digital economy and economic growth and infrastructure. So this is very much top of their agenda in terms of how do they make this fast-growing economy grow even faster and make the conditions even better for entrepreneurs to start and grow digital businesses. So I think London and Cambridge cited Brexit as a top 3 challenge. That's no surprise. I mean, many companies that I work with, over 50% of their workforces are from the European Union or beyond. That's no surprise. This is a digital economy that's growing very quickly. You need to be able to attract the best and brightest talent from around the world. What I would say about Brexit, clearly that has been cited as a challenge. Of course it's a challenge. I would say it's a speed bump rather than a roadblock. And I think entrepreneurs always rise to a challenge and try and find ways around it. Now what we need to do is make sure that government is thinking about how we make the most of the situation, how do we actually develop more homegrown talent, but also how do we make it as frictionless as possible for people that want to work in technology to be able to come to this country and actually join what's going on. And I think that's where government, this is why the event today, we had government representation, because that discussion is so important. Because in Cambridge, a lot of companies, companies that we work with in Cambridge, over 50% of their workforces are from the EU and beyond. We, as TechNation, run a visa scheme called the TechNation Visa Scheme. It's very much about attracting the best and brightest talent from around the world. And we've seen record numbers of applications coming in over the last 2 years since Brexit. So it's about an attitude. It's about how do you deal with the challenge? And what does that say about us as a country and the psychology of a country of how to deal with this, given that we know that the digital economy is one of the most important sectors that's growing and creating high-paying jobs. So clearly you've got big universities here, that academic institutions with centuries of heritage and history. And clearly you have a lot of people from around the world coming and studying here, but also then having the ambition to do a PhD and then the ambition to start a business. And as they start a business, they'll quickly find out that there's lots of networks and angel networks, people who invest in people early on, more so than probably many parts of the country. And that's because, Cambridge has been doing this for decades, being able to sort of do very well out of exits. So ARM is a good example. I think it's about 2 years ago since ARM sold to SoftBank. And obviously, as much as I am nostalgic about it, actually what that has done is released a lot of capital into the ecosystem, meaning that you've got people who have become angel investors investing in a new wave of entrepreneurs. And I think now, more than ever before, we have a cohort of globally ambitious companies that are doing very well. So the more we recycle that capital, the stronger and more resilient the ecosystem is in Cambridge. Now what I'd like to see more of from Cambridge is how it connects with Oxford and Manchester and London, so that it can take what it's doing to the next level, and then that way we will create much more of a network of digital excellence, and that's what hopefully TechNation will bring to Cambridge and other parts of the country. I think my takeaway, it's amazing that we did this event last year, and it's amazing to see what a difference a year makes. As I said, last year we were wearing hard hats, looking at wires coming down from the ceiling, and look at it now. This place is buzzing with people, companies, the energy is fantastic. It's very infectious. I think if we go at this rate, my God, are we going to see a strong Cambridge, an international Cambridge that continues being at the forefront of digital technology, but also of life sciences. And I think when you have got two, I would say, competing sectors doing so well, you'll get a lot of cross-fertilization and probably many new innovations as a result. So a key takeaway for me was, I think Cambridge, more than probably other cities, has got that opportunity, and the question is, how do you seize it?